Right. So this is the tricky bit, and probably the most boring bit for those who don't know me, never met me. So you don't need to watch this. This is my health update. So we've had the workshop update at Mum and Dad's, we've had my sort of workshop update. What a difference a day makes, to be honest. I'm starting to really get this clear. Lifestyle update, guitar update. That's all fine. That's in previous videos from the last week or so. This bit is specifically about why I created this channel in the first place. I wanted to create content for myself and for my family to then go back and learn what was going through his head, other than the obvious. So, to fill you in, mid-May, I woke up at, early hours of a Thursday morning, 1 a.m. type thing. And I was like, oh my God, I'm having a seizure. This is annoying. So I wasn't scared. I just knew what it was because I'd had them before. The previous round of them was like 18 months beforehand. It's when we got back from Italy in, it would have been early September 2023. I hadn't had any since. The medication was working. And I'd like start to reapply for my driving license. Life was looking really positive and good. And to be honest, it still is. Okay, I'm happier now than before I was diagnosed. Much, much, much happier because I understand what was going on. There was clearly something ticking away. I was finding myself full of rage at times. Anger man. And I still get that because that's very much part of having a frontal lobe and a temporal lobe tumour. There are behaviours based around those, but at least I understand them and I can try and explain it to the people that I know and love, or just chill out if possible. Like my sense of depression, my lack of comprehension of maybe what my head was telling me at times. It all seems to make a lot more sense now. So plus there's a positivity in life when you've got to crack on. I mean, what's the point? What is the point in dwelling on something? Just make the most of every opportunity, whether it's through projects or through loving people, through meeting strangers, through sharing that interest in someone you've never known before. Wow, this is getting deep already, isn't it? It's good job I brought a coffee. Hope you're strapped in. Anyway, back to the seizures. So the ones I was having, and they always tend to start off like this, and Lisa will have to put in the notes or something what they're called. The names of the seizures, the types. It's like my brain ignores them. It's like when I was a kid playing cricket at school, you had to play it. I wasn't interested. I wasn't interested in learning the rules. Football was my sport. And learning the names and the things about the seizures, it doesn't seem to be the bit I should be concentrating on. I'd rather be concentrating on stop having them, making myself better. And when I'm having them, my brain isn't paying attention to what they're called. I end up going to the doctors or the hospital. They ask me the same question, like 5 different people will ask me the same question, and I have to get Lisa to help me because I'm a little bit occupied at the moment, doctor. I can't remember what's going on. I'm not even aware right now where I am. So I don't know what they're called. It's something like clonic, tonic, moronic, that kind of thing. Definitely putting the ick into seizures. So the first ones are much more sort of physical. They, do you remember Scooby-Doo when you were a kid? Unless you are a kid, go and watch Scooby-Doo. And he'd make himself, they'd prep up this like massive stacked sandwich and they'd just go, well, that's what my jaw tries to do. I can feel it trying to dislocate itself. Something here or something there is causing a nerve to go open that mouth as wide as it can. No. Wider than that. No, wider, like it's an elephant coming in. And but I'm conscious and I know it's happening. I can pull myself up, if I'm in bed, I could pull myself up. It'd still be happening, and it's not nice, and it's not any form of mockery of myself. But the face, it feels to me like this eye will close. I'll have lightning flashing going on in my face. But I know that Lisa's there. I know I'm safe. I know where I am. But this thing's happening. It reminds me of those adverts that they try to show people about having a stroke, that kind of thing. And there's some sort of comparison that might be made to that type of scenario. But again, I wasn't scared like the first time I used to have them. And when I'd had the first one, I looked at Lisa and I was just disappointed. I was sad for her. And then, but I actually went back to sleep, and I think I had another one 4 hours later. So there were 2 or 3 that night. Following day, rest. I don't think I had any in the day. I had some more at night on the Thursday night, Friday morning. Then I continued to have that type of thing. I probably had about 12 to 18 of them over the weekend. They felt like they were getting better until I went to a place called Bressingham Steam Museum, Bressingham Steam Railway. We've been lots of times and I still can't remember what it's called. I went with the Stag Owners Club and my... can you hear that seagull? I went to Stag Owners Club with my parents and the children and Lisa, and it was going to be a lovely day. I'd sort of talked myself into doing it because I really wanted to do it. The kids were going to enjoy themselves, and I went off not feeling great, obviously, but knowing that I could sort of struggle through it, that I could get through the day. I think like a lot of parents do, and go, it'll be okay. But when I found myself in one of the steam trains, the exhibitions of the post wagon, which is great, and I started having a seizure, and the kids were there, and I had to turn my back and hide away, and my mum had to quickly get the children off the train so they didn't see too much of me having this seizure. I realised I needed to leave and was taken back to the house and put in the cupboard. No, not in the cupboard. No cupboards involved. I just needed to go back home with Lisa and relax and sort this out. The following day, I decided that they weren't getting any better, and I, unlike most men, went, I need to go to the hospital. It's not that the hospital, it was a bad idea. I have a real fear of going into the hospital and not coming out for days because they've got control over me, and the needle's in your arm or in the back of your hand, and you're always waiting for someone to have time to do their job. I love the NHS. I really love it, and I don't like being there watching them struggle with time and resource and rude people and pressure as well. But I luckily work, I forgot to say that bit, luckily the company I work for, Clock Limited, we're a technical and design agency. They're amazing. So Lisa was able to message them and say, look, Chris has had these seizures. He's not going to be in touch because he has to rest. And they do what they do. They went, we love you. Just, we're worried about you. Take your time. Just keep us informed if you can. That's special. Don't worry about a thing. Okay? They didn't say that's special. It's special to me. Imagine if they went, that's special. Some seizures, eh? Ooh. So I knew I didn't have to worry about work until I could get better. I already had the following week booked off because we were going to Devon. Maybe that was an increased pressure, but I'm glad it was, because I think you need something to aim for anyway. So I'm in hospital on the Monday. They're running tests. They're asking about the same thing. I had the young guy, Will, who was amazing, came in. He understood as a accident and emergency, I suppose, nurse who can cover lots of things. He identified where I needed to be, what help I needed, who I might need to talk to. I'd already filled the stuff in reception, people asking you lots of questions. Horrible layout at Norwich and Norfolk University Hospital. Bit of a hassle. I'm trying to explain to them. And at the same time, my seizures had changed from this very physical Scooby-Doo jaw thing to this weird, it's a more inner seizure. I could sense it coming on. I've had them lots before, like every 6 months or 12 months or 18 months. This physical Scooby-Doo thing would then materialize into this inner conversation with my own brain. And I'd sense that there's a seizure coming on. But inside my head, I'm saying this. Oh, it's you again. Oh, well, you can fuck off. Excuse, I'll beep that. Yeah, go on, do one. What are you doing around here? And the minute it gets to a point where I say, like, you, it's like the trigger for my brain to kick off into the seizure and go, you, and then physically manifests itself out of my mouth. You, and I get stuck. Like it's someone trying to start a car. Constant 12 volt. You, and I then have to try and tell my brain to stop doing that so that I can stop this reaction and try and breathe. I don't think I can describe it any better than that, but it's hell. In that there's so much going on in this brain. It's like a beautiful thing, like so complicated, the brain. It's like stunning. I love learning about it. But at the time, it's a little bit annoying. Having this inner battle constantly. And it would go on, that went on for at least a week of those things. So I'm at hospital trying to talk to someone, trying to answer questions. But the minute they start asking me questions, it might make me nervous enough to then have a seizure, and they just look at you like, I ask you a question, like, what's going on? And you can't tell them until you've spent 20, 30 seconds. Anyway, Will was great. Halfway through that, Will goes to put the notes on the system. Another doctor with a trainee comes in, that's fine. Come in, you've got to train, brilliant. But ask me the same questions. Someone who isn't in a position to be understanding what's going on anyway, can't talk, all of this stuff, they have to know. Great, okay, fine. Then another one comes in later on, asks the same questions. Can you not just look at the system, please? It's all there, yes, but we have to ask, to make sure it's correct. I'm not a criminal. You don't have to try and catch me out. If anything, give me a little bit of support here. Anyway, they were all, Will and his team were amazing. Lots of cups of tea, water, and that kind of stuff. They looked at Lisa by that time, fought her way through the car parking system, sworn a van driver apparently C-bombed him because he was being that. She was with me. She was able to then help me explain things to people, which is what I rely on a lot with Lisa. So thank you, Dana. Got through it, got to a point where the neuro, they sent me down for a CAT scan. Again, in a previous video, I made a cheesy joke. I didn't find any cats. Still no cats. To be honest, I'm looking forward to the cats one day. If they find a cat in my head, even though Lisa knows that we ain't ever having no cat, I'm I'd probably be happy with a cat, 2 cats, that jump out of my head. Meow, meow. And they're like, what? What are you doing in there? Not humans, after all. Cats. Went through the 5 minutes of scanning. The results came back a couple of hours later. The neuro team could see them. The good news is, they said, the lady came in, and I was maybe a little unfairly shirty with her because she went through all the same questions again. Lisa wasn't there at the time, and I was getting really scared that she came across like she'd found something. She was waiting to give me some really bad news, and she wanted to drag me through all of that information again. We made friends. I always like to try and show respect and be loving and rewarding to anyone that is there to help me. But my God, if you don't want to help me, sometimes the tumour rage, it wasn't rage, but the frustration could come out. The good news is, the CAT scan didn't show any great signs of change since I first was scanned in 2021. But it did say that this one had changed appearance, but they don't tell you any more about that. What do you mean? What does that mean, it's changed appearance? Did I have an egg? And now it's more of like a cream egg? So, I wouldn't mind that. Cream egg compared to an egg, unless it's a pickled egg. I'd go either way on that one. Delicious. Sort of leaves you in the lurch, like, well, what does that mean? And I'm still in that lurch. I'm still in that period of like uncertainty until I get more results back. Anyway, how are we going here? I mean, there's probably only 2 of you that give a damn about this. One of them will be my wife. Another one will probably be my 20-year-old son going, fucking hell, Dad! So they gave me some drugs. So some extra anti-seizure medication on top of the stuff I'm already taking. But the biggie was a steroid. Again, I don't know the names of my medications. So I don't know the names of my seizures. I'm not taking it very seriously, really, am I? It's dexamethasone. It's a drug. It's not Dexies anyway. Is it? Is that what it was? I don't think it was. Is that why I'm a midnight runner? I'm wired on them. That'd be interesting. I'm going to look that up. Oh, that's dextrose. There's a... Oh, God. Anyway. And initially they went, we could give you like 2 milligrams of this steroid. I was like, anything that happens. And that would be to bring the swelling down. By the time I left the hospital, they'd given me 16 milligrams. So 8 times more than they were thinking of initially. 16 milligrams. And they put the first, so that's 8, twice a day, morning and evening. They gave me the first 8 as I left the hospital at about 7 o'clock in the evening. By the time I got home, bear in mind that was a high dose and it was late and I was meant to go to bed. I was so wired. I think Lisa was scared because luckily the kids were with grandparents. Lisa was scared because she didn't know like the change. It's like, oh my God, it's all over the place. I had to go at midnight. I was out walking in the countryside on my own, having seizures, trying to sort of keep myself anywhere. I probably was looking like this. I was scared anyway. I had a torch. I was having these like seizures, trying to start this imaginary car. And it's horrendous. And I was put on those for a 2-week course until I got the emergency MRI scan. So 2 weeks I was given them, and that is counted as a short-term dose. 10 to 14 days is what it's recommended as. Sadly, well, I say sadly, so for the first 2 weeks, remember I said we'd already had a week booked with in Devon with the wider family, Lisa's family and my So that's my family. So my in-laws, my mother and father-in-law, what do you call them? Father-in-law. Jan and Neil, love them. And Neil and Sean. Fucking hell, Robbo, get it right. Sorry, it's 5 o'clock in the morning and my brain's not working. So Jan and Neil, who are my Lisa's parents, and then Nikki and Sean, who are Lisa's brother and his partner, and then Ruby and Rosie, who are their 2 girls, and then Sonny and Poppy, who are our 2 children, and Lisa and I. So there were 10 of us. Maths at this time of the morning. Believe it or not, I've got a maths A level. Anyway, there were 10 of us in Devon in this beautiful manor house. Thank you so much, Neil and Jan. It was gorgeous and we loved it so much, and it's exactly what I needed. It was a week that also included my birthday, so I could go there with my children, with the whole family. I'm not normally a other people's children person, but I love my nieces. I loved the whole time, but don't tell them that. And it gave me that 2-week time to let the drugs kick in, do their work. I was still having seizures by the time we got to Devon because the whole stress, there's that whole sort of overwhelming sensitivity to the brain. The brain's going, oh my God, I can't take it all in. So by the time we got to Devon, we'd had quite a few hours in the car. We were trying to find the right place. The children were sort of kicking off in the back, and I had 8 of those seizures in about 20 minutes. Luckily, I was in the front, and they were very much contained within my head. So in my head, I was going like that. Lisa knew what was going on, but the children didn't see it. And those 2 weeks, the drugs seemed to work perfectly in that they gradually removed those seizures. And by the time it was maybe my birthday on a Tuesday, 27th of May, everybody, I think I had my last one. I think I had the last one on my birthday, and it was like a tiny one. No one noticed. So that was great. So we get back home though, and haven't heard anything about the MRI. So I request, I said, like, what do we do? We need more medication then, right? They go, yeah. And they issue the next 2 weeks lot. And since then, still nothing at the time. So 2 weeks after that, issue the next lot. And they've just issued the next lot after that. So essentially I've been on the same steroid, short term, for 6 weeks, which is, we didn't realise that was bad. So I sought some more advice on that, because it went from 2 weeks and feeling really good, and then the last 4 weeks I've started to feel really, really bad. I've been sleeping for 3 hours a night the last 4 weeks. I'm a wreck. I've developed something, you'd have seen it in the other videos, but apparently it's called moon face. It's like they've injected something here. So if you're one of the vacuous moronic friends that gather around who have this filler stuff put in your face, well, just take some steroids, get a couple of brain tumours, you'll be fine, it's free. And yeah, I'm putting weight on. I've said it in other videos. I'm eating like a glorious pig, and I love it. I can't help it. It makes me want to eat. But I've put weight on. I've put all the weight back on that I lost last year when we moved house. So I lost about 1.5 stone just because we did everything ourselves. No van, a little bit of help from family, but not very much, not in the grand scheme of things. And look, this is just half of my workshop. I've got a shit ton of stuff in the house. Look how much, can you imagine moving house with me? We're not 2 car loads and get a van to bring all your grey and white and gold stuff. This is real. So I lost lots of weight. I've put it all back on in 6 weeks. We were in Devon. we were in Devon on the last night, and I've got my pie and chips, delicious, in the beautiful Ruggleston Inn. Final night, everyone's loving it. And I think Neil, Jan and myself all had steak and ale pie. I had Stilton in mine because it was an extra that I could add. And I'd finished mine, and I could see Jan was getting through the chips, started on the pie, but was slowing down. I was like, ooh, that pie's available. No, give it time. Don't say anything. Pie's still available. Jan obviously clocked on. Was like, do you want to? I don't want to waste this pie, Chris. And it was like the whole pie and the lid. I ate that. Still had dessert, I think, when we got back. Just eating serious amounts of food. And I thought that was just meant to be fine. But I looked it up, and I've got, I think it's called steroid toxicity, because they've allowed me to stay on the same amount of, the 16 milligrams for 6 weeks, and they shouldn't have done that. And it's basically poisoned my system. This isn't about pointing blame. Honestly, the NHS are doing the best that they can. But why didn't a GP, bearing in mind I'm not a lad that goes in occasionally and goes, I've got a cold, I don't want to go to work. No, I go in and say, hello, how are you? You're doing a great job. I've got 2 brain tumours that aren't curable, and I'm here to try and make you smile and me smile and keep going and just do my day job and try and inspire people and what have you. But would you mind helping me out when I maybe need someone? Maybe pop me on some kind of, I don't know, not an at-risk, but maybe a little more care when I do need it. So for someone to be sat there going, oh, he's after more pills, and not go, wait there, 16 milligrams of Dexy thingy, but he wants another 2 weeks worth, another 2. Maybe we should give him a call. Or call the neuro team that it's in his notes that he's not aware of, that they're meant to be having a meeting about it. Should we chase that up? It's meant that I'm fucked, like in the day. I'm trying to do my day job. I had to say to Patrick, my boss, CEO, he's such a gorgeous human, Patrick. I hope you never watch this, because no one should know. I had to tell him yesterday, I'm really struggling. Fine to do the work, but it's slow. And it's the getting around the house. It's like my body there's nothing there. I'm struggling to get upstairs. It's weird. So it strips out so much of your system. I feel a bit dumped at the moment. So I had to say to the doctor, the 4 pills in the morning, the 4 at night, well, I've read, I'm going to taper it down. And I'm sorry, but you're not in charge anymore. I'm taking 3 this morning, 3 later, and I'm going to do it for 3 days. And I'm going to do 2. I'm going to call you and let you know my progress. Then I'm going to do 1, and then I'm getting it out of my system, because you should have been paying attention. Someone should have been paying attention. Every time I go to that doctor's, I think I've been 5 times since we moved. So we moved 10 months ago. So I've been for like the general, hello, this is who I am. Oh, this is who these people are. These things in my head, blah, 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 blah. And a blood test, that kind of stuff. I've had a different GP every time. I need that sort of relationship that I had with my previous GP, who goes, oh, it's you. Yeah, of course. How are you getting on? Blah, 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 blah. And to have one other GP that backs that person up if they happen to be away. I had that before. Anyway, I don't want that to come across like a grumble. It is a grumble. But at the same time, it's just got to be dealt with. It will be dealt with. And I still get home and I'm like, yay! Life's good. Life is good. There's a song, I'm not here feeling sorry for myself. I'm doing stuff. I'm tidying things in the evenings. Last night I saw this little toolbox out because I think it's cool. It's got patina on it. And that might become, I don't know, might house fun things for me. It might be like Sonny's first toolbox, because I had a little red toolbox. Can you see that one? Possibly. That was my first toolbox. Maybe that's his. So I'm happy, I'm chuffed. I've got the guitar stuff I'm doing in the evenings. Work's okay, work's looking after me, work is beautiful. And there's a song that pops up sometimes. I normally see it or find it on my Tim Burgess, there's a Timbuktu playlist CD, I can't remember what the full name is. And it's not Patrick, I can't remember the guy's name. But anyway, it basically says there are children who have cancer, and I can't compete with that. All bets are off, can't compete with that. That's true. And likewise, there are homeless people on the streets, and there are people in Palestine getting blown apart, and historically and currently people in Ireland and all over the world that are being just treated like shit, fighting this, there's tech bro pricks out there, there's Donald Trump, oh, sorry, Donald, did you think I liked you? Fuck off. Getting a bit ragey now, aren't I? There's liars, there's cheats, there's people in Norwich that want to, take people's money for themselves because it's nicer and easier. And I've found a sense of rage against injustice since I've been diagnosed. It seems to matter more to me. There's racists, there's bigots, there's people driving the world into separation and divisive, you're that type of person, don't trust them. I'm lucky. Look at me. All I've got. If I have a seizure every 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, I'll take that. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. One day they'll get to a point where it's going to be bad and I can't work and do all this stuff. And then we'll cross that bit at some other point. But that's not today. So I'm just going to crack on, drink my coffee. Hopefully I haven't offended too many people other than the baddies. And that's the update. That ultimately what I've learned since having those seizures though is the impact of family, a wider family. So that week in Devon was really special. That week in the weekends that I've spent in the place that I won't say exactly where it is, but at my mum and dad's house. Truly special. Thanks, Mum. Thanks, Dad. Truly special. Just to spend time around my family a little more and help them whenever I can. That's amazing. Just meeting people, with getting rid of the scooters, the bicycles, just meeting people that came to me, and you form a relationship with someone because you have common interests, common bonds, or sometimes it's just because you're a good person, they're a good person, and you meet someone like that, there's no pressure. Finding things, sounds silly, but finding things on Facebook Marketplace, going and picking them up, and because you're picking up something that you like, the chances are that that person likes it too, or did like it, or they've lost a loved one who liked it, so there's a story and a memory, and you can reassure them that you're going to help them, or fix it, or whatever. It's about meeting humans with souls. It's not about chatting on social media. This isn't actually my kind of thing. I'm not here to be a YouTuber. This is like a memory piece for me. So it's interesting because I feel I'm talking to someone, but I'm talking to myself. I'm letting it out. One story that Nicky, who I eventually explained is my brother-in-law. So he's a great musician, and he's been looking for another better acoustic guitar for a while. And I had one at Mum and Dad's, and I thought this is a really lovely 70s, probably 73 Yamaha FG200. So a really beautiful guitar, laminated timbers, but Japanese guitars the laminate on there is stunning, especially then. I thought, I'll fix that up, give it to Nicky for his birthday, which I did. But the minute I decided to do that, on Marketplace, a 1973 or possibly earlier FG200 came up for 30 quid. So, down the road. So, what? That's weird. That's some kind of voodoo, sexy magic. So I contacted the lady and said, is the guitar available? I think I'm the person, because it clearly needed a bit of work. I think I'm the person to give it some life. And she said, great. When can you come and view it? I'm taking care of it on behalf of someone who I care about very much. And she's just lost her husband. So I don't want you to mess her about. I said, that's fine. I'm not here to mess her about. I'm not a dealer. I'm not going to kick the tires. If you tell me where the guitar is, I will go and look at it and make sure she understands that, it's fine, and I'll take it away. She said, yeah, but I don't want you messing her about. I said, I won't. I've just realised that I put £30. Actually, I meant £50. Okay, it's fine. Just tell me where to go. It was getting a little awkward because it felt like she was thinking I was going to go along and go, oh, this isn't worth 50 quid. No, be sensitive with people. Look after people, even if you don't know them. Okay, I want people to take that from this. Eventually, I got there. This poor lady, she's obviously not long lost her husband, and I left her to do what she needed to do, and I went and looked at the guitar. Even if the neck had broken, I was going to give her 50 quid just to practice on. I said, when I found her in the kitchen, said, yeah, I'll take it. And there was no conversation about my husband's dead or anything like that. It's almost as if she didn't know I knew. As we turned to leave, she said, you have no idea how much that means to me. As I sort of said, take care of yourself, don't worry, this guitar's going to a good home. And I turned to her and said, no, I really do understand. So that she could tell that this lady had told me what was going on. And she started to well up. And I held her hand, a stranger. I held her hand, squeezed it. It's just enough to say, someone cares. And I said to her, this other lady, she really cares about you. You've got people out there that care about you. Oh, it was a deep, beautiful, beautiful, sweet, sweet moment. Then, rather randomly, she said, as I'm like holding her hand, like deep, she went, do you know what two-stroke oil is? What? Two-stroke oil? Yes, I do know what two-stroke oil is. I said, is it for your mower? Where's this come from? Oh yeah, the gardener needs it. Bloody hell, it's gone from... I think it was like a way of detaching from that moment, a quick like, ooh. But I'll tell you what, if you're her gardener, she's going through some bad shit. Add it to the expenses, don't mention it. Don't have her running around trying to find two-stroke oil, you plonker. Anyway, how random is this? Okay, I'm going to drink this coffee. I've locked myself in the garage so that people can't, interfere and try and keep the sound of seagulls off and people next door. So this might make it online. It might not. Again, I love you all. Peace, love, and all of that stuff. Just try and be positive and spread some love today. No matter who it is, you might not know them. In fact, find someone that you don't know and just make them smile. Because I think that's the only way we're going to get through everything. Yeah? Okay, here I go. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.